Graduate Employability and Career Center. The short form is GECC. We are physically at the first floor, Block E, Complex Perdana Siswa, which is right above your new one-stop center. You'll be surprised. If you come in semester 2, you will see that Complex Perdana Siswa has been transformed. So before you come here, you can see construction works. It's the down floor, the ground floor is already done. You can visit our one-stop center at KPS. So we are above that first floor. The title of our talk today is Career Planning for Winners. So I'm just going to ask you to pat yourself at the back for being one of the winners today, because that's the first step, towards successful career planning. Because you're here, that shows that you have the initiative, to do your own career planning. So good job for those who are here. Now, so just a little bit on employability. I just want to share with you this, newspaper article clippings. So we see that, so this shows you the an excerpt from Hansard at the Parliament. Talking about graduate employability, being concerned about the rate of employment among our graduates in Malaysia. So that's in August 2022. Then, based on that, the worry or the concern about employment or about employability among Malaysia's graduates, the government established a committee to monitor the graduate employability level among institutions of higher education. Then there's more and more issues you can see. So here we can see how concerned about the payment, the type of job that you get once you graduate. It says they're overqualified and underpaid, meaning that you may graduate with a degree, but then later on you take a job which is unsuitable with your qualification. So that's concern about that.
Tak nampak slide.
Wait, so apparently we're not moving. Okay. Apparently we're not moving. I'm sure I'm going to stop presenting now and I'm going to present again. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, share. Okay, screen easier. Screen. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that. You can stop me anytime. Maybe someone alerted me just now, but I was not paying attention to the chat box. I have two assistants here. My wonderful officer, Encik Nak, and also Cik Nita. Okay. Now, you can see. Okay, good job. Okay. So we can see here what I mentioned just now regarding the concerns about employability and employment among university graduates in Malaysia. That's why the government has stepped in and come up with all the studies. So Kazanah Research Institute actually came up with a study to get down to the issue. What's plaguing our education system? What's plaguing our graduates? Why can't they find jobs that's suitable for them? And then at Ministry of Higher Education level, they also did something, which is they established this council called the MIGRAD. So in Malay, it's Majlis Pembolehpasaran Graduan Universiti Malaysia. So it's MIGRAD. So it's something to help local universities to come together, have dialogue about how to improve the employability among our graduates, including them. Now, so are we worried about our employment, our employability? So let's look at the top 5 statistics in UM. Pharmacy 100%. So this is the result from last year's SKP. You see there the top right corner. You can see there SKPG. So every year, the graduates, once they graduate from any university in Malaysia, they have to do this graduate thesis study. Okay. That's how the university can monitor which programs are doing well, which ones are not doing well, and that's how the government can say, okay, these programs are not getting the employment level or employability level, which is sama, which is the same as the level of subsidy given, kan? So they can decide what to do with those programs. And also, you can see the pharmacy 100%. Why pharmacy 100%? Easily answered, because pharmacy has such low number of students, not low, little number of students as compared to other universities. They are small. I'm saying that not that there are not many takers of the pharmacy program, but it's just because the faculty is quite small. Then that's why they got 100% employment, but not employment, employability. So there's a difference between employment and employability. But this is something that we do every year. We want to see if our graduates are employable or not. So second, dentistry. Third, Alam Bina. Alam Bina is Faculty of the Environment. My faculty. The fourth one is medicine, and then we have FPE, Perniagaan Ekonomi, which is business and economy. So the trend tends to change every year. Okay, so this year you can see pharmacy at the top, Alam Bina at third, but this year you may be surprised. We've got the 2024 result, but I'm not going to discuss today because it's still not official. Now, going to our next one. This is something as a director of GECC, I received this email last year from a PhD graduate who graduated in 2020, who still hasn't obtained any employment. Can you imagine? PhD belum dapat kerja. So kita pun we feel we feel sad lah that this kind of thing happens in Malaysia. So this is just one of many other examples that we have. I just want to share with you what's happening outside because most of us will get the jobs that we want, job leading to a good career. But some may have this kind of problem. So I want to trigger, I want to ask you to have this awareness about where you're going to go, your hala tuju, your direction after graduating, so that you don't wait until final year and then suddenly you suddenly discover, I don't know what to do after this, I don't know how to proceed with my job seeking. I don't want that to happen among UM graduates. Okay, that's why we have to be ready and we have to plan our careers from now. Having said that, I just want to let you know that we are here for you, okay, in terms of career support, okay, student career support. So that's us. We have GECC at the top, as the main advocate ataupun the main center lah in UM in charge of your career planning and also development, okay. So we have GECC, and also don't forget, we are just the employability and career center. You sometimes need to, you want to discover yourself, you want to figure out what your interests are, what you want to do afterwards, and you still maybe a bit mixed up because I'm not doing the program that I want. My interest is in one thing, but now I'm doing another program that I have no interest in, whatever. So you have these conflicts, within yourself. So that's not us. Okay, you may want to go to CDE, the Center of Counseling and Disability Empowerment. They do career counseling. So at GECC, unfortunately, as for now, we don't have any counselors. Okay, in the future, God willing, we will have. Okay, we're planning to have career counselors here at the GECC. But for now, if you have these kinds of conflicts that I was talking about just now, you go to CDE. It's just next door to us. Okay, so first floor of Block D. Okay, so next door to us. We are just very near to each other. Now, after that, at your faculty, we have the GE coordinator, penyelaras keboleh pasaran, penyelaras GE. Okay, so at the faculty, I hope you guys know this. So at faculty, you have the dean, right? At the top management, at the very top of the management of the faculty. So under the dean, we have deputy deans, timbalan, dekan. So we have dekan, timbalan dekan. So we have the dean, we have the deputy dean. So there's one deputy dean who's in charge of students, which is the Ahli Ehwal Pelajar, Students Affairs. under the Deputy Dean, we have the GE coordinator. So you go and have a look and you find out after this. Okay, you can Google, you can go to your faculty's website who your GE coordinator is. Try to be familiar because your GE coordinator is also someone who is entrusted to be your career advisor at faculty level. Now, besides that, you can always go to your academic advisor. I hope you guys know who your academic advisor is. Normally, for a batch, okay, you have one particular lecturer who's in charge of the batch, who's led the academic advisor, and within a big batch, maybe there's 2 or 3 lecturers who are assigned as the academic advisor. Pergilah, jumpalah, be familiar with your penasihat akademik. Then we have lecturers that you may be friendly with, that you are comfortable with, that you know, young lecturers or lecturers you rasa dekat lah, that you feel very close. You go and ask opinion or support regarding career from these lecturers. Now this is us very quickly. I'm not going to dwell on this. Okay. If I'm going too fast, you let me know. My assistant there, Niza, will tell me to slow down. Okay. Just tell in the, write in the chat box, and then whatever comments you have, whatever questions you have, okay, my assistant there will point out to me if there's anything that I need to know. Niza is number the far right, Haniza, so that's my assistant for today. Now that's myself, Dr. Has. Can call me Dr. Has, by the way. My name is a bit long. Dr. Has, and then we have Cik Na, Puan Nabila, as the officer number 1. Officer number 2 is we have Siti Zuraida, Cik Zura, okay, Cik Na, Cik Zura, and then we have Niza. And then we have also, as our support at GACC, we have Puan Siti, Puan Amy, Cik Fadil, and Saiful. Okay. Now, what we do, okay, regarding what we do at GACC. So we have all these brands of career programs. I'm not going to dwell on it. It's just for you to know that we are here and we have all these programs for you. I just want to highlight the 4th one. We have Job Fest. Job Fest is the UM's brand for our career carnival, career fair. So this year, our Job Fest is going to be on the 14th and 15th of May. So normally, we have our Job Fest middle of the year. So last year also May, this year also May. Okay. So this year is going to be 14th and 15th May. Mark your calendars, pencil in your calendar. Come to Job Fest to mingle with the industry, to get to know people. Okay. And then for you guys juga, some of you may have heard Job on Campus. This is your opportunity to gain professional work experience, not professional experience, maybe work experience on campus. Now, one of the elements required in your resume is work experience, or sometimes we call it professional experience. Okay? Sometimes you say, oh, but I'm still on campus all the time, kan? How can I gain work experience on campus? This is your opportunity. So when you see advertisements on job that offers job on campus positions, apply. Because it's very light job lah. This part-time work. Normally we don't encourage the faculties to give any job more than 30 hours per week, just so that you get the experience but not sacrifice your studies at the same time lah. So please, if you see this, ada banyak, bukan not just at your own faculty, other faculties as well. You can actually apply. Kita ada juga, we have the CCC, the corporate, kita tak pernah. Mobility, the International Student Center, that one, a lot of students there employ as JOCs. We have also library, for instance, apa lagi. Sometimes we have faculties, sometimes we have centers, yeah. So keep a lookout for these advertisements. Apply lah. Sebab not only you get work experience, but also you will get paid, dapat duit. Okay. Then finally, this one, I think some of you may be familiar, but some of you may not be familiar. I just want to highlight this very important program known as Precision Intervention. Okay. Now, Precision Intervention, Precision Intervention is a program where we, GACC, identify students who we feel can benefit from intervention. How do we identify the students? Now, remember some time ago, I don't know, but it's going to come again, a reminder for you guys to do your MyCPP. My CPP is a survey for us to evaluate your skills, your soft skills. And then from the evaluation, we will call you. And then we have a certain number of people that we want to call from certain faculties. There's a certain criteria that we have. And normally people who with a predetermined score that we decide, okay, we should call this person. And we have 3 brands of Mr. Mention, KCOM, LIT, and METI. Normally we do this outside UM. 3 days 2 nights. Last year we did in PD for Eastern. So coming soon in May, we're also going to be in PD as well, 3 days 2 nights. But our program, unfortunately, is only for first year students. The second and third year students, normally we will refer to your faculty for this one, precision intervention. Now this is us on social media. We have 4 so far. We are on Facebook, Instagram, IG, LinkedIn, TikTok. So you can follow us for information about the programs that I mentioned before, the upskilling, the My Career, the Career Kit, Wizard Immersion, and so on. Okay, next. Now I just want to tell you what we do here for you guys. So this is something that the top management of UM has approved last year in August. So it's quite new, hot off the oven, we say. Now, in UM, we try to guide our students. Okay, we try to guide you in your career planning. And we call this framework UM Graduate Employability and Career Framework, GECC framework, UM GECC. Now, but this framework also, how do we make you guys understand what you need to do in a simple way? So we come up with a DEEP model, the GECC DEEP model, which gives a guidance for you guys what to do during year 1, year 2, final year, and then once you graduate, what to do, right? So this kind of thing, we hope, okay, because it can be quite overwhelming lah. Orang kata banyak benda tau. Quite overwhelming for you guys. Once you reach final year, people ask you what you want to do, which companies you want to go for your internship kan. So we hope that we can guide you from even year 1 to start thinking about your career path. Career planning. So the DEEP model stands for DEEP and D, discover during year 1, which is, okay, I don't know if there's any first year students here. Any first year students in this group, you can raise your hand. Good. Okay, first year students. I think these are people from the prison intervention in PD. Yay. Okay, good. Now, during UM we introduce ourselves, okay? Starting from last year, we went on stage, we introduced ourselves to the first year students. We say that we are here to help you in your career planning, in your employability. So, kita ada di sini, kita ada di tingkat 1, Block E.
Ada yang raise hand.
Raise hand.
Aziz Irfan.
Untuk ask question.
Ask question.
Maybe, okay, maybe wait. Can you see what he's raising? Apa nama again?
Ada yang raise hand untuk ask question.
Ask question. What's the name again?
Aziz Irfan.
Aziz Irfan. Aziz Irfan, you raising your hand? Any question for me? Yes? No. Oh, turn. Okay, it's okay. So just to let you guys know, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand. Yeah, no problem. That was allowed. Or chat box. Now, okay, so prison intervention, which was a good one. I think we had 113 students in PD, kan? Best. Ada 3 program masa tu. So we introduced them to. So this, as I said before, prison intervention, we had the MyCPP to evaluate, to assess you all punya soft skill. Siapa yang layak, siapa yang tak layak, and then we had the 3 programs, okay, called LIT, METI, kan? So coming soon in in May also will be in PD, but another resort. Oh, kita buat kat resort tau. Kita tak buat city dekat hotel mana-mana. They had a good time. But anyway, back to our first year. And then our 2 career programs, My Career and Career Kit. So My Career, they have career talk, industry engagement. Industry engagement, sometimes Sandabi comes to UM, for instance. They want to showcase apa dia buat kan. So sometimes they bring their robot tau. Ini not talking about Sandabi, the big one, Sandabi Plantation. Or even Maxis coming to UM, dia bawa apa? Dia bawa e-sport dia contohnya. So they want to showcase apa yang dia buat. So dia engage dengan students kan. So that's the meaning of industry engagement. So first year dah boleh, you can start coming to all these events, career talk, industry engagement. Lepas tu, we have also our career kit, which is corporate readiness. Ni nak jadikan you all ni corporate ready, you know, corporate readiness 1.0. How to address people, for instance, email etiquette, dress code, social media presence and content. So one of the things we did last year we had a career month, which was under deep dive month, career deep dive month. That was quite okay, quite successful. We had two grooming workshops, okay, and where you guys were exposed on how to on personal grooming lah, macam mana how to carry yourself, how to behave during interviews, kan? Because after all, kan, first impression during the first 10 seconds, kan, or is it 2 seconds, when people meet you, makes all the difference, right? So the participants of the workshops were told how to sit, how to approach the interviewers, which side of the chair to approach, to sit from, left or the right. Apparently it's from the right. Macam tu. So macam those small things, what colour to wear, what colour not to wear, and then the other workshop that we have, the grooming workshop, was how to do makeup for ladies lah. So we do that here at JACC, and then job on campus. Even first year pun boleh jadi job on campus punya pekerja lah, boleh. Kalau ada advertisement saja, you apply. Then how to apply? Go to our website, ada orang kat situ. Either you go to our website to get the form, or sometimes the center itself will give you the form to fill in. Okay? At second year, you explore whatever we have exposed you during first year, you explore during second year. Oh, now you know that we have career talk in UM, we have the industry engagement at KPS, for instance. So come here. Kalau ada saja you see the posters on LinkedIn or TikTok we have. Nizam, do you have poster TikTok? Yes. Nizam can tell you. So all these posters, you come and participate or immerse yourself. Datang. And then career kit also, we want you guys starting from second year, even actually first year, start to link into career kit, whereby you guys will be exposed on how to do some branding, digital branding, online presence. By Google, we have programs. LinkedIn also has programs. And then please, starting from second year, you more seriously think about your extracurricular activities. You get as much enhancement on your soft skills as possible. Okay? How? Nanti kita tengok, nanti I cakap kat you the tips for first year, second year, third year, what to do. Macam mana you nak obtain? How do you guys get the soft skills ni, kan? So there are some tips that I want to share with you. And then finally, don't forget our MyCPP. Do that. You want to see your progress. Kan, siapa yang dah buat MyCPP first year, when you were chosen to join our Precision Invention, we want to see your progress. Whether you dah bagus ke, kalau tak, we can do more for you, okay, while you still in UM. Then don't forget job on campus. So if you see that job on campus is available at every year that you are here in UM, as long as you are a UM student, you can apply for a job on campus. Third year, please, our job fest, you come to our job fest, you come prepared, okay? Come with your resume, for instance. Jangan datang lenggang saja. Job fest nanti ada, what do you call it, lucky draw. Last time was
Apple Watch.
Apple Watch. So those the lucky ones can get. Last year we had 3 Apple Watches, right? Two Apple Watches. One was not from UM, betul tak? So I felt quite bad kan. We want to give to UM students, kan. But our job fest is open to everyone, and we have people from UM datang naik bus. Ada satu group tu, 3 orang, 4 orang. They come all the way from utara, from UM. They took the bus just to join our job fest. But UM students tak datang. Itulah, and UM students tak dapat Apple Watch tu. This year I want to see changes. I want to see students be more involved datang ke job fest because seronok. And then my period, third year, you start to go outside, engaging with the industry. If there's any industry visit, you go there, have a look. Macam mana suasana kerja? Maybe you haven't been to Excella is what company provider. Tech. tech company. You may not know apa tak lupa kan kerja dekat tech company. Last time we went to Axola in at Kerinci. Masa South. That was very nice. That was a very eye-opening visit because itulah rupanya tech company. How small one but still if you imagine Google kan, the HQ almost the same lah over there. So you come and have a look, have a feel macam mana, what's the work environment outside kan, pergi sana nak just nak tengok macam mana orang kerja. Nanti you rasa inspired kan, you feel inspired to join that industry. And then ada networking events, you come and join as well, okay? And then we move on to corporate readiness 2.0, whereby you get more intense punya exposure or development on your skills. We do mock interviews, resume writing workshop, interview skills juga. We expose you on how to answer questions, interview etiquette, kan? Like I said just now, your first impression to how you should behave in your interview, your dress code, digital footprint. Okay, third year please, everyone must. At this stage, if you don't have LinkedIn, that's quite a sad thing lah. I think even first year students, you need to have your LinkedIn account as early as possible because you want to establish your branding, your personal branding. And then finally we have PEP, placement. Kita ada all these places available for you to apply for internship, for instance, to get a job. And then the tools available, I'm going to expand more in the few slides down. And then all this towards the high GE employability. Now, for you guys, I have a question to throw. Do you know the difference between job and career? Kerja dengan kerjaya. Do you know the difference? Okay. I hope you guys are aware. Okay, it's not just language. Ini bukan dari segi bahasa saja. It's something that you guys need to fikir juga lah sometimes. Job to kerja is a short term thing. Okay, short term placement. It's a task focus and it just pays the bills lah. Satu kerja. You boleh kerja e-hailing, part time ataupun full time boleh kerja. Ada orang tak dapat kerja, dia kerja kat taskar atau some people tuition, teacher. For just as a job, just as a short term punya solution. Hopefully they understand that. Okay, as opposed to career, something that is long term. You want to plan ahead. Apa sebenarnya? Your life is long, so you go to leave UM when you are 20 something, right? 24, 23. Okay, average lifespan for Malaysia is 76.6 now. So that's how many years for you to live kan? If you follow the average lifespan of Malaysians. So what to do after getting out of UM? Takkan you nak fikir short term saja. You want to think long term. Okay? What am I going to do with my life? How am I going to what am I going to do now so that I can achieve or I can attain my full potentials? I want to fulfill my destiny lah tu kan. Sebab you datang UM pun, of course that's something. You are top of the top people. Claim dia dah claim, orang kata kan, claim dah claim, maknanya yang terbaik dah. So you must want to fulfill the remainder of your life with potential kan. But you need to plan now as your career, not just thinking about jobs. And you should have this growth mindset, not growth focus, growth mindset. And then, as I said before, life is long. So your career tu, you want something which is rewarding. Yeah, you rasa puas hati, you rasa excited to wake up every day, to go to your job just now, which in long term will lead to your career kan. So to do this kan, to have this awareness, to do this planning, first of all, have a sit down, okay, be very calm, duduk diam-diam, okay. Fikir, what is your main goal in life? Actually, you nak apa sebenarnya in your life? What do you want to get? What do you want to attain? Okay, in your life actually, you want wealth, you want a happy family later on. What do you want as your main goal kan? So if that's your main goal, okay, now you can break down. Okay, kalau itu saya nak wealth. Now I want a career that leads to wealth. Kepada duit, kan? So you know that. Okay, what's your end game? So you fikir juga your end game. You know, your main goal in life is that. Okay. Tapi you nak tinggalkan apa kemudian? You want to have a dream lifestyle, meaning jet setting ke, something you can brag to people kan? Ataupun something that is the same as your peers. Ataupun tak risau pun. I just want to leave a legacy, satu social legacy, supaya saat saya tinggal nanti people remember me for the good things that I do for my profession, for my field. For instance, I want to leave a formula in science, in physics, for instance, satu legacy itulah. So itu yang you punya end game tu, think about that as well. Main goal tadi, saya nak famous, saya nak fame, I want fortune, I want happiness, I want what else? I want fulfillment, I want whatever lah. That's your main goal. You think about that first, and then apa lifestyle you nak tu, and then apa legacy nak tinggal. I don't want to leave any legacy, fine, but now you know I don't want to leave any legacy, fine. I just want to live a good life, okay? By answering these two questions, you can know what you want to achieve in life. You dah tahu, sekarang saya nak hidup sederhana saja, okay, therefore I'm going to plan my life, my career towards that. Okay? Plan how to get what you want to achieve. So sekarang, since I know what I want, I have to plan the steps. In 5 years time, I need to be at this level. At 10 years time, I need to be at this level. 15 years, so on and so forth. When I'm 30, I'm already married, I'm already settled down, I'm already at a junior management level or senior management level, so you know, okay, you have that plan. Now, if you know that in 5 years time I want to become a senior manager or junior manager, exact tak lah, exact dalam 3 tahun dia jadi executive kan. So after that you move to junior manager, okay. So if I want to become a junior manager in my field, for instance, business apa kan, what kind of education do I need to have now? What kind of skills do I need to have now? I want to become a manager, of course. I need to be good with people, kan? Maybe for now, oh, my communication skill is not so good, so I need to polish on that. I need to acquire tools. Tahu, boleh belajar. Jangan fikir I'm so shy, I'm so introverted, saya tak boleh nak jadi people person, saya tak boleh nak ada PR yang bagus. You can learn those skills. Boleh. 3 tahun kat UM ni, okay, there are tools that you can go. And kalau pun ada satu crippling, if you have a crippling fear ataupun of people, for instance, or you have this crippling shyness kan, you nak make sure you nak tahu apa yang sebenarnya berlaku dalam hidup. You want to know what happened before so that I can change this, so that in the future I can be like this. You go to counselling, CDE, itu lagi bagus. You can do that, and they have this client counselor confidentiality. Whatever you tell them, they're not supposed to tell the other people. So you have that as well. So okay, if your weakness is communication, you manage that, or you obtain the right tools, the right training to overcome the weakness in that particular soft skill. So you have communication, you have apa lagi, teamwork. Kurang lah saya ni, I'm a loner. It's not wrong, you know, to be a loner. It's not wrong to be introverted. But it's good to, if you can at least have some tools that can overcome. When you have a situation which requires you to be a people person, now I can practice this skill. Okay, I can practice this tool to become a people person, to have a more extroverted personality during that particular event. Tak salah, you get the tools now, okay? Now going to moving on, okay. Now in career planning, so this is what I come up with from my experience. You need to have the know how, know who, know what, know when. Kan? Know which tak ada, tak payahlah know which. Know how is you need to know your program contents, even though you tak minat, you're not interested in your program, okay? Maybe you are now in your 3rd year, your 2nd year, okay? You feel that it's too late, you tak apalah, I'm comfortable with this, okay? But know your content. You need to know, okay, I have accounting here, I have apa-apa, which can lead me to this career path if I go out. So for professional programs, it's no problem, okay? Professional programs, because your career pathway more or less has been set kan. Katakan you are now at faculty of medicine kan, doctor, you are at built environment, you are studying architecture, tech, craftsman, or in ID, interior designer, or if you're real estate, I'm from the real estate department, so real estate, more or less, okay, if I want to become a professional real estate employee later on, okay, professional real estate person, apa yang nak buat? Oh, registered value. So more or less, you know that your program is tailored towards that. But what if you are a more general degree? Science kan, physics, apa lagi, bio,
I'm just citing lah, I'm not pointing fingers ke apa kan, but you need to know apa you belajar ni sebenarnya. Okay, if you have your life goal just now, and this is what I'm learning now, the program content, what extra things do I need to have to complement, untuk melengkapkan saya punya knowledge just now. Okay, soft skill, you kena tahu you are weak in this soft skill but strong in this soft skills. Okay, and you make the most out of your soft skills, but you try to improve your weak soft skills, for instance. Or you also need to know what kind of soft skills needed to excel in the workplace later on. Okay, and then you also need to be familiar with the job applying tools, which is resume. Itu basic. Resume kena tahu apa ke mana. What is resume? What is CV, for instance? Apa beza dia antara resume and CV? In Malaysia, normally we take it the same lah, but that's quite a difference between resume and CV. CV is longer than resume. Resume is the 1 to 2 pages long, but summary about yourself that you send to get a job lah. But if you are required to send a longer document, that's your CV. Now, cover letter, okay, there's a lot of templates available on LinkedIn which you can easily get a good cover letter to accompany your resume later on. Okay, know how. Know who, there are government agencies in charge of employability, in charge of careers. There are KESUMA. KESUMA stands for what? Human Resource Ministry of Human Resources. Stephen Lim goes, very good, pick KESUMA, because they have many programs. Talent Corp is one of the programs by KESUMA, Ministry of Human Resources. Talent Corp is a body, okay, in charge of ensuring that Malaysians are adequately skilled. Di Malaysia, Talent Corp itu tugas dia. And then you need to know your own industry. You need to know, oh, I'm in accounting. Who are the top 4, top 5, top 10? Kan? So within this top 4, I need to know at least lah. The director is who, from which country. The structure is such that this is the only one in Malaysia. But this one is a multinational consulting company which branches in Malaysia, in Singapore, You need to know your industry. You need to know who are the players inside that. Kalau di Malaysia pengarah, for instance, the director of this company is who? Say, I can only give you examples from real estate or from built environment. Say you are interested to work for a developer. Okay, developer also real estate can, engineering also can, and actually now they are more open to people from other fields as well. They also need accountants, developers. So just giving an example, developer. Okay, IOI. But who's the boss of IOI? Get to know this. Siapa sebenarnya, datuk mana in charge of what? Who's who inside the industry? Okay. If you have a professional body, okay, who's the current president, for instance, of that professional body? Talent platforms, you guys, I think some of you, I'm not some, I think the majority of you may not be familiar with these names. Talent Bank, Graduan, JobStreet, JobStore. You know, most of the career fairs outside, okay, they are organized by these people from Talent Bank, Graduan, JobStreet, JobStore. But okay, there are some differences between Talent Bank and Graduan. Graduan, for instance, they are more interested in overseas graduate. I tak tahu kan sekarang saya tell you. Talent Bank, for instance, is a very big company. They go, semua orang pun dia tolong semua orang, all companies, but especially MNCs. What the timing now? 40 minutes, okay. JobStreet, JobStore, for instance, more SMEs, small medium enterprises, okay, Talent Bank, bigger companies, MNCs, multinational companies, itu beza dia. So semua ni, they are all players in the talent, what do you call it, in the job fair ataupun consultant lah, human resource consultancy. But for instance, they have their own niche, they have their own focus. Now, know what? You kena tahu and what are the facilities provided for you and also services provided for you. Okay, kita ada example GECC for career, but also you have next door to us the CDE just now, counselling kan, and then we have SEDC or PKPP in charge of pembangunan pelajar, student development in charge of entrepreneurship. You may have an interest in entrepreneurship. Maybe you don't know that in UM there's a center that can help you, that can help banyak dari segi help in terms of advice, help in terms of connecting you with the right people outside, help you in terms of getting money for you pun boleh. So you kena tahu all these things in UM. So maybe you want to, as you just now kan, your legacy, your dream, you want to have a company. Once you graduate, you want to have a company, so you want to polish your entrepreneurship skills in UM. So you nak buka satu small punya enterprise lah dalam UM, nak buat satu business kan. Tapi tak tahu macam mana. Come here ada. Next door to us, we have the PKPP or SPC. HEP lah, semua ni ada HEP, okay? Banyak clubs lagi boleh pergi kan. So you need to know ada club, ada centers, ada all these things. And then we have the job search platforms, ada ni Cable, JobStreet. So how to search for jobs part time, for instance. Maybe you want to get work experience or professional experience, but you want to work remotely. Faham tak? Remotely, you don't have to go to the office every day. You can have companies from Singapore hiring you, from Hong Kong hiring you, from mana lagi, Thailand kan. Semua tu akan bayar US dollar tau. Through platforms such as Cable. Cable ada some international companies interested to employ students part-time. Buat kerja remotely saja, online saja, dapat duit. Contoh, JobStreet as well. And then, okay, know what you need to know also about profiling tools. Maybe you feel, leceh lah, I want to go to CDE so far, or I have so many things to do during the day. I have my studies to tend to, I have a part-time job, but I want to know myself. So there are profiling tools available, free online. Some links even in this slide. So MBTI, I have the 16 personalities, right? What are you? You figure out yourself. Myself, I am INFJ. Susah nak cakap. INFJ. I'm an advocate, for instance. So it can help you to know yourself. It can help you to know the careers that are suitable for yourself. ONET, for instance. ONET is a very, very good site, okay? But it's based in US, so most of the contents are US punya contents lah, but can be helpful as well lah. Because if you don't know, if you know your interest, you just want to see based on my interest what are the jobs or what's the career suitable for me. ONET can do it for you based on your interest alone, not on your personality, on your interest alone. And then, okay, you must know about personal grooming, how to do makeup, how to take care of your BO. Siapa tak tahu BO, Google this body odor lah. Sometimes you tak perasan kan. Itu sebab first impressions, right? I have to state this. You have to know this. You have to know this kind of things because it can have an impact during your interview later on. Body odor, body punya bau, makeup, kan tak tahu what colours suitable for you kan. Branding, personal branding as well. You need to have digital presence. You need to have, I think nowadays it's a must. Everyone must have LinkedIn. And your LinkedIn must be active lah. Not that you post every day, but active lah. Know when you know the timing of your internship, for instance, the timing of recruitment, for instance. When once you are in your final year or you've already come out of UM, you need to know that February and May is the time when companies, when banks, when MNCs, when corporations do their hiring, recruitment. Timeline is slow down. So when do you want to start sending your resume? February to May, during that time. That's the window that you have to take advantage of. Okay. Now, so these are some of the websites that I told you about. That's quite helpful if you want to do profiling. So I can share the slides after this with you guys. Okay. Now, as I said before, you always have CDE if you because these things need to be they are the debriefing after you do the test. normally, okay, you need to have a counselor telling you actually, okay, what do you need to do next, what do you do next. But for some people, they say, okay lah, I just want to know about my personality, good enough. Okay, fine. For you guys, these are the things. But if you want to have further explanation about the test here, the MBTI Ocean test, you want to be debriefed about the results, you can go to CDE to get counseling. Now, digital footprint. I mentioned about digital footprint just now. So now, your online activities can affect your job seeking. I know that most of you know this, but sometimes you forget, right? Whatever you like, whatever you post, whatever you comment can affect your job seeking later on. Okay, you may think you may not think about it. You may think it won't do anything to your image, but it does later on. Because your HR, the HR from the company that you apply later on, the first thing they do, if they feel they shortlist you, they akan Google your name. They want to see if you are active on LinkedIn or not. They want to see if at all you ni ada online presence ke tak. Tengok. They Google your name, nothing online. That will be bad news because nowadays everything pun is done online, right? And you must leave something lah kan. At least LinkedIn, at least a record of you joining a society or something lah, doing some programs for instance kan. So be careful when you like, you post, you comment. Be careful who you follow on your social media account, because some maybe you are not aware. Some may be, for instance, the 3R, the 3R tu apa? Race kan, racist, apa lagi I cannot recall. Racist, royal kan, the 3 things that you cannot touch. Race, royal, and R, the other R. Anyone can remind me? Race, royalty, and what's the other R? Anyone?
Religion.
Religion. So these 3 R's. Thank you, Liza. Careful, because later on it can bite you in your bottom. Careful, yeah. Now, they are active and passive digital footprints. Okay. Active is good. Active is when you deliberately share information. Okay. Passive is when you left without you realize that you're leaving your likes, your shares, your comments. But be mindful, and then we have positive and negative digital footprint. If it's a positive digital footprint, you like the correct person, you like the right people, it can lead to positive personal branding. But negative digital footprint, you for instance, you like the people who, or you follow people who have the 3 R's just now, who shows that they have a tendency to get involved in the 3 R's can lead to negative personal branding as well. But then again, this one is in general. But for some programs such as political studies, that may be good for you. But it shows that you're thinking, you have a political thinking, way of thinking. But generally, don't like this. LinkedIn, okay, I know I don't want to read this. I know, I think you guys know what is LinkedIn, okay? But these are some tips for a good LinkedIn profile. And I see this a lot. My students especially, my students, real estate students, they use nicknames. Don't use your real name. Okay? No nicknames. Use your real name. Upload a LinkedIn profile photo and cover photo, a nice one, a professional looking one. Not one of you with your cat. Not one of you hari ini metal sebenarnya tak mau you're a professional, a good one that shows your face, good lighting for instance. If you have a good photo, dah pakai coat but then lighting is not so good that people can't see your face, what's the use, right? Write a LinkedIn headline. Universiti Malaya sponsors my students, for instance. Universiti Malaya student union president for Faculty of Science, for instance. So use a good headline to catch people's attention. Complete your about section. I see this a lot. Students do not completing their about section. When you ask to follow or you ask to connect to a professional in the industry, when you don't have your about section, they say, who's this person? I don't know what this. Dah lah headline tak ada. About section also are empty. So I'm not going to receive the invitation to network. So please do these 2 things. Headline and also about yourself. include your work experience if you have any, because as I said before, your HR later on will want to Google you kan. If they see your LinkedIn with a good record of your work experience, that's good enough. Add your skills and ask for recommendations. And then how to create a great LinkedIn profile, you connect, okay, how to start. You create, first of all, you need to have a LinkedIn account. Do this lah. The profile is now, must have a heading, must have an about section, fill that section. You connect with the people on your lecturers professional network first. You connect with your lecturers, you connect with the people on your lecturers list, and post at least once a week. At least once a week. Some people say at least once every 2 weeks. Boleh lah. Asalkan you post, please. Be consistent about it. Share, comment, follow prominent persons in your field of visibility, because they will notice you. If you notice them, they will notice you. It goes both ways. Highlight relevant projects and professional interactions and details. So this is when you want to boast. You want to showcase what you did. Don't be shy, please. LinkedIn is no place to be shy, but there's a way to do it. Supaya you're not in the in the face, terlalu menonjolkan, terlalu in your face kan, in people's face. There's a way to do it. You observe how people do it and pinjam, borrow their sentence or their verbs. Use LinkedIn wisely. It's a quality rather than quantity. Janganlah you bombard. You don't keep on bombarding people, you know. You don't keep on tagging people with your posts that can be annoying, that can lead to people removing you from their contacts. That happened to me quite a lot. When people who tag my name without permission because they want my network to know what they're doing when what they're doing is not that great for them, and I don't want to be associated with people like that. I will remove them from my connection. Now, I just want to show you. This may not be the best LinkedIn profile lah, but this is my student. His name is Amirul Aiman. You can follow him after this. You can see what he's been doing with his LinkedIn. I think it's quite good lah, actually, because he showcased his short attachment. I'm not talking about internship. Internship lain cerita. What this guy did before, because he's now he has just finished his internship. Okay, what he did in the past when he had a short break, 1 month, 2 months. He did short attachments, sometimes without pay. Tak apalah dia kata, he wants to get the work experience. Every time he gets the work experience, he posts on LinkedIn. Every time he wins something or he joins a competition, he posts on LinkedIn. And the third one on the right hand side, he just established an NGO bagi makan, payung. So that kind of thing we want to see. We want to see a colourful LinkedIn profile. I have 10 more minutes, is okay? Boleh ke kalau if I stay longer than 10 minutes, if you want to go at 12, please go ahead. But for you guys who want to stay even after 1 hour, you are also welcome, yeah? Most welcome. I will try my best to finish on time. But you can see here what I'm saying. LinkedIn is not just a place, okay, to show your professional side. You also want to show your volunteerism, for instance. Your competitions yang you dah buat, your leadership punya situations.
Dia bukan.
Now, this is also something that I want to show. So maybe some of you say, I'm sure Aksy lah, kenapa kena ada LinkedIn? Saya nak jadi ustaz saja pun, saya tak perlu ada LinkedIn. LinkedIn goes, you can use, anyone also can use. So see the Yusuf Asidiki, Ahmad Syarkawi, he is now an imam now. Imam at Masjid Sultan Abdullah Mosque, Menara Merdeka. So even an imam also can have LinkedIn. And he posts regularly, and quite interesting as well. His posts. So anyone, and also on the right side, I just want to show you that it's not just for Malaysia. So this Abdullah Tekini is something that I met last month in Turkey. In person, he cannot even. His English is not so good. I think maybe his writing is better than his spoken English or his But you see there how interesting his posts are. He posts about the conferences that he volunteers in, and then he puts the photos of the networks or the professors that he met during the event that he volunteered in. So these kind of things. Okay, just start building your personal brand. Adeline pun, I see Adeline pun just now kan, very good as well. Dia suka showcase apa dia buat. Sorry lah, I keep on saying Adeline, but you guys, if you go and see LinkedIn, you can see lah what I mean. But some of you, I mean, you guys yang lain pun may have a similarly good LinkedIn profile, but it's just that I connected to Adeline, so that's why I know. Now, the top 10 soft skills sought by employers. Okay, so we have the first one. This one, everyone talks about this. If I go to a banking, if I listen to a bank punya presentation, kan dia nak UM students, apa dia nak, what's the first criteria? Because we ask the employers outside, what kind of things that you look for from a graduate, kan? Besides that, you are from UM, and UM is a top ranked university in Malaysia, number one. Besides the fact that your program may be professionally accredited. Something that I want to tell you, I want to share with you. Every year, there's 200,000 fresh graduates being produced by our universities, by our colleges in Malaysia. 200,000. And do you know how many skill jobs are there being offered every year? I mean average, I'm talking average tau, about last year. Average 50,000. So 50,000 skill jobs for 200,000 graduates. That is why you have to set yourself apart from your peers. Your peers from other universities, your peers, your classmates, it's on you. Nobody can hold your hand and tell you that you need to be prepared. But that's why I'm sharing with you the reality outside. Now, so you need to have these communication skills. Something is a skill that all the employers, doesn't matter if it's banking, semiconductor, pun dikatakan ada semiconductor, the factory tu kan, semiconductor, they need someone who can pitch ideas. So communication as well. Okay. Apa lagi? Real estate value. You have to present your report, for instance, the property market report. So you need to have communication skills to convey the idea to your client, to the public. Problem solving ability. Okay, problem solving means that if you are faced with a situation, you know how to resolve the situation. You can analyze the situation. You can give effective solutions. This is a very popular question asked during interviews nowadays. They will give you a situation, and then they will ask you how will you solve the problem if you are faced with it. Or have you encountered a similar situation before? So what was it? How did you resolve the problem? Something like that. Adaptability. You need to be adaptable. So you need to be flexible. You need to have this growth mindset. Teamwork, strong work ethic, things about time management, professionalism, your boss can rely on you. You know when to seek directions and not always tanya apa saya kena buat, apa saya buat. You have this professionalism, willingness to learn. Orang kata the slang nowadays is jangan cepat koyak. There must be this willingness. Kalau tegur, you take that positively. You grow when you receive comments or criticism from your seniors on time management, interpersonal skills. Now this is very important. Interpersonal is different from communication. So interpersonal, sometimes you are so used to a single culture punya environment. Single culture doesn't matter lah, whatever culture you're from, okay? You're not used to another culture. In the workplace, it may be different. You have to be, so in the classrooms nowadays also, sometimes there are problem. If you have a problem communicating or engaging with people outside the culture, please address that problem now. You kena belajar, you have to learn how to mix around, not just from people from other cultures, people from other genders, people from other age groups. Kan sometimes itu senior takut lah, even senior 2 tahun takut. Apa lagi senior yang 5 years, 10 years, you will encounter that. You may, because you graduate, okay, you may be put at an executive level once you graduate. And then sometimes your karani, your clerks may be someone who has 20 years, 30 years experience, over 50 years old, 40 years old. You should be able to know, you should know how to tackle with people, you should know how to talk to them, kan? These interpersonal skills must be there. Okay, so address those problems. If you know that you are weak in your interpersonal skills. Emotional intelligence, itulah sama juga macam tadi, koyak tu lah, managing emotions. Know that if you have personal problems, you don't take your personal problems to work, but then at the same time, if you see that another person is struggling, you know how to help, you empathize with the person. Analytical thinking is different from problem solving. Analytical is when you are given complex information, you analyze, you break down the information, okay, and then you organize the information, the data into information that can help you to make good decisions later on. That can help you in your decision making. Different from problem solving. Now I want to stress this point, internship, okay? So internship can lead to your first job, please. And your first job can affect your career. Remember just now the difference between job and career? So if you choose the wrong internship place or kerja yang salah pun, okay, you can get a wrong job, first job. And from the first job, you can lead to satu career pathway yang not so straight lah. You can still make it. Okay, I'm not saying that if you choose the wrong internship place or internship position, it will lead you to a very difficult career path. No, but the tendency, kebarangkalian itu ada lah, lebih tinggi. Now, it says that, right? Because I'm not saying this out of my own thinking. No, it says that this is the study done by Kazanah Research Institute. Degree holders who have done internship in an industry that is directly related to their study field are more likely to be in a match employment. In contrast, of course, in contrast, those in internship programs unrelated to their study yang tidak berkaitan dengan program pengajian are half as likely to attain qualification job match in their current jobs. Ada di situ there's a statistic there. Statistic shows that if you choose an internship that is not related to your program, okay, there's a 50% chance that that later on, once you want to apply for a job, you will get a job that is unmatched, not matched to your qualification, either from different field. Contoh, if you are what's a good one, science. Okay, no. Teacher. Education graduate. Okay, I'm going to just work in as an intern here dekat satu government office near my house because I want to save on rental. I want to save on travel costs. I want to save, so I want to stay in my hometown. And you know that government officers, the local authorities, for instance, the majlis, normally they only offer if they have vacancy. So later on, Tata ni tak dapat kerja satu. Tata ni later on, since you don't have any jobs, no education, kerja apa, taskar, KK-mat, you know, that kind of thing. Sayangnya. Or whatever jobs that is not matched to your qualification. So here I want to ask you later on when you choose your internship, ask about the short-term conveniences, and then you balance that. You tengok, you consider please the long-term benefits. Will this internship lead me to a good first job that will ensure me a good career pathway, or will this internship lead me to an easy 6 months, 20 weeks, because I'm near I'm in my hometown, I'm living with my parents, my dad will drive me to work every day, my mom will cook for me every day. But later on, once you want to start applying for a job, you don't get a job, or you will get something that is outside your scope, outside your program. Think about that. Now, these are some sample resumes. Now, again, maybe some of you, first year, second year, this is too early for you, too early now. No. You tengok sini what are the things that they want. You may not develop. You tak nak buat lagi, tak apa. You don't want to write your resume first, it's fine. But know what are the things required in your resume. Education tak apalah, itu semua orang dia pun kan. Technical skills are that one. Okay, technical skills. This one is if you want to ask for a technical job, right? Technical job, you need to have very vast lah technical skills. But if you are in a non-professional punya position, you want to apply non-professional, maybe this is not as important as that. But at least you want to tell, okay, I have Excel, I have Power BI, I have some Python, whatever lah. So that will be an advantage to you. Okay, but professional experience, that one important. Professional experience kena ada dan sekarang ni work experience needed kan, kita kata work experience dan professional experience. It doesn't say job experience. That's the thing. Professional experience means any experience that macam job campus kan, tu professional experience sebenarnya. Some HR they also think that if you are in a leadership position before at university, katakan you jadi president of such club kan, itu pun boleh jadi professional experience. Bagi dia. So jangan tinggalkan, don't leave it empty, jangan biarkan kosong. Mesti ada, there must be something that you've done during your studies that can be translated as professional experience. And you come to our resume clinics, you will see how to write the professional experience. That is something that I cannot expand now. Tak boleh, tak ada masa. Certifications, what kind of certificates you have, and then the do's and don'ts, nanti boleh tengok sendiri lah. This one. Okay, same, not same as job experience. Work experience, professional experience is not the same as job experience. Even though you tak pernah kerja makan gaji, you can still put professional experience there. Don't leave it empty. Now, potential interview questions. Now, this is the first one. As soon as you sit down, the first question is, tell me about yourself. Tell me something about yourself, okay? You have 1 minute to convince people, to sell yourself, to pitch yourself to your interviewer, okay? And this is not just an interview for work, you know. So this is also something, interview for scholarship, for instance. Interview for student, anugerah diraja. Could be, okay, could be. So any interviews. We'll begin with, tell me about yourself. Tell me something about yourself, okay? Write a script first. Though you kena buat sekarang. Write script 1 minute. If you practice that, it must be within 1 minute. Script, okay? That must be concise, informative, nama. The important details are there. So if sometimes you do an impromptu punya introduction about yourself, you forgot. You lupa nak cakap pun nama siapa sometimes. Or you director of so and so, just like, okay? So concise, informative, memorable. How to be memorable? Okay, for instance, your name is Shafiq. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for for giving me the opportunity to tell me about myself. My name is Shafiq. Shafiq spelled with Q, not K. Something memorable like that. Okay. My name is Moihan. Just kidding. This is a real person, Moihan. Moi is a girl's name. There's a story behind the name to make it memorable. You can write the script on your name, for instance, kan? Memorize the script until you can cite it in your sleep. Kalau mimpi kena kerja hantu, nama saya, my name is Moihan. The reason what? Something like that. A script that you can cite or you can say impromptu, secara spontan. Bagus tu. And these are some of the questions, and I have a list of questions that I can share if you guys, if anyone wants. I have a list of potential interview questions. But normally, remember just now I said the situation, that's the second one. How do you handle a situation where you're faced with complex problem and don't know where to start? Dia tanya macam tu. That's the sort of question they like nowadays. Okay? But at the same time, you can ask the interviewer, what's the biggest challenges facing this company or department right now? How do you see myself contribute in resolving the issue? Something like that. So these are some of the questions. Okay, so they ask you questions and you are given the opportunity to ask them questions. Now these are some of the useful platforms for you guys, okay, for profiling, for online presence, LinkedIn. Please, everyone after this, if you still don't have LinkedIn, please create a LinkedIn account. If you have LinkedIn account, I welcome you if you want to connect with me. And then you can see that in my connections, I have a lot of industry players, orang-orang besar pun nanti kat situ. So connect with my connections as well. Upskilling, okay, how to upskill now. Later on kan, you want, as I said just now, sometimes you feel you have your target kan, you want to plan your life like this, but my current program, academic program content is not enough for me. So what do I need to do? I need to obtain some skills kan. Inilah dia upskilling ni. So LinkedIn, eLatte, MyMahir, itu free. I don't give you the paid one, you know. So for students, you can get some free upskilling programs on LinkedIn, on eLatte. eLatte is our government, HRD Corp just now, the Kesuma just now, human resource. eLatte, but unfortunately eLatte is only for Malaysians, if I'm not mistaken. They will ask you your IC number. MyMahir, National Training Week. I think National Training Week is open to all, if I'm not mistaken. Also, that's June. Oh, I have the date already. 14 until 21st June. Everyone. This is free. And it's a mixture. You can opt for physical courses or you can opt for online courses, but they will give you certificates. All these programs, LinkedIn also some programs, they will give you certificates that you can attach with your CJ later on, with your documents when you go for your job interview. Good kan? All these are free. Internship, if you don't know where to look, my next is the place where you can have a look. Okay, the suitable places for you to apply. Job seeking, and semua employer. Now, if you get a job offer, sometimes you want to have a review. You want to get to know, is it a good place for me to work? So you can go to glassdoor.com. There are some reviews left by people who have worked there previously or still working there. Okay. Resume checker, this one. The resume just now, sometimes if you apply to Petronas, for instance, 2,000 of you applied, 2,000 applications, going for 50 positions. The HR will not have time to go through one by one, so they will run the 1,000 resumes through what is called the ATS. The automated tracking system, ATS. So through the ATS, they will set aside, someone raise their hand, or they know someone wants to ask a question.
Doctor, I want to ask a question.
Yes, please. What's your name, please?
When there is
Oh, I don't know you. Okay, anyway.
Okay, so on the eLatte HRD Corp, I was interested in some of their courses back then, but I see that we have to pay.
Oh. No. I know for sure some, not all, but it's like this. eLatte, you got paid upskilling programs. You have free upskilling programs. I've done 2 free. So there's a tab. You look carefully. There's a tab. Satu tu free. Satu lagi. You can sort actually. This person won that inbox just now, right? Your name? This person. I don't know. My student lah actually. Okay, D. Okay, anyway. She's my student, but you can eLatte, there are some free, some paid. So the upskilling programs can range from 60 ringgit per program until 100 ringgit per program, the paid ones. But the free ones are free lah, like that. National Training Week, this one I would like to encourage everyone. I missed this last year. They had 16,000 training providers free. Ni best. Go 14 until 21st. At least one. Make sure you have at least one certification that you are interested in. Maybe your program doesn't teach you Microsoft Excel, for instance. So you go to the introduction to Excel, or actually, kita kat DECC we do that now. We have the upskilling program, but that one is for graduates. But anyway, go for that. If you know that this is my aim, I'm still lacking in some skills. Okay, these are the skills that you can upskilling programs that you can join to complement. Yes, someone wants to ask question again. Yes.
Good afternoon, Dr. Haas.
Afternoon.
My name is Adeline.
Hi, Adeline.
I want to ask, how can we register for the National Training Week?
Good. That's a very good question. They are not open yet. But from now, you can register, but they have not offered any programs yet. You go and Google National Training Week, okay? The website is up because it's memanglah it's a permanent website. I think there's a registration button. So register now, but it's still not open lah. Now it's only March, right? So later on, okay, closer to the date, keep a lookout on our LinkedIn. GECC will remind you guys. The National Training Week next week. Okay. Now, good questions.
Thank you, Dr. Has.
Welcome. Okay, now, resume checker. This one, okay, you want to know that I mentioned just now. If it's the position is limited, number of positions, but there are a large number of resumes being sent, the HR department will not have time to go one by one. So what they do is they will run through the resumes in the system, and they will just set aside those resumes that don't fulfill the format. Tidak ada satu automated. So sayanglah if you have good technical skills, good work experience, but just because you don't follow the format, the standard format, your resume is being excluded from the pool, from the accepted ones. Now, once you do resume, you can run. You can upload your resume at this website, Resume Checker. Then they will tell you, okay, 4% of this one, your resume does not follow the ATS specifications. Okay. Other than that, okay, this is a website. Other than that, GECC we do have resume clinics during I think the job fairs from time to time lah. Masuk kau. Last year we had Maybank. Maybank datang and they do this for us. But how many students datang? Not so many. But anyway, this year you know. And then you have the career center, you have us, you have GECC website, you have GECC social media platform, and then we have our friend ChatGPT. How can you use ChatGPT nowadays? This is the simplest one, the simplest prompt, okay, that you can do. Simple prompt saja. Suggest 10 entry-level jobs for mathematics graduates. So depends on your program. Sekarang you have no idea, right? So use a very simple prompt, okay, to give you 10, for instance, or top 5 entry-level jobs, okay? Other than that, you can also be smart and do this. More advanced prompt, okay? You are a career coach, so you are attending ChatGPT, it's a career coach, okay? I will share my resume, you tell you to analyze your skills as well. Nice, right? So you can have, based on what you prompt, ChatGPT, you can get the 10 relevant job titles based on your skills, based on experience, that you have a 75% chance you will get. Isn't it wonderful? Because it will save time. Kan? So please be smart. Use ChatGPT wisely to help you in seeking a job later on. Now, I can share with you the slides. No. Finally, okay, the conclusion. Tips. So first year, apa you dapat? Second year, what do you need to do? If you are now first year student now, okay, what do you need to do? Some of the tips that I want you need to know yourself. First year student, so having said that, I hope that second year student already know this. So these are the things that you need to cover during your first year. You need to know yourself. You need to know profiling. At least do MBTI one. MBTI is so simple. I go to the website that I gave you and at least know which of the 16 profiles you are. Know yourself. Be familiar. Know yourself just now. Know your end game. Know your main goal. Kan? Be familiar with your program. Your academic program lah. Your mathematics. So, bila dia punya internship. Bila what kind of jobs that I can get when I graduate, for instance. So, be familiar with the program. No, okay, first time I do this, second time I do this. After second semester, I got 3 months gap. So, what do I want to do then? Or, second year, between second year, third year, I have 3 months gap as well. What do I want to do? Mobility, for instance, because I want to improve my not just life experience, but also something that will make me more interesting on my resume. Kan? So be familiar. Where's the time you can insert some kind of work attachment di situ dengan industry. Have a career plan, please. Okay, don't go with the flow. Even first year, don't. Job fair malas lah. Career fair, job fair is not related to me. Malas lah. GECC program. I nak balik kampung on Contoh kan, Waisak, katakan Waisak. This one, Labor Day is Thursday. And then Friday no class. Wednesday I want to cabut already. Wednesday GECC buat program. Please lah. Please have this sense of responsibility and fikirlah sikit. Yes, you want to go back to your hometown. Yes, you want to see your parents. But short term versus long term tadi tu. Okay? Do you want to get short term satisfaction versus long term benefits? Kalau you pergi GEC punya data, you dapat jumpa, you can meet important people in the industry, or you can know how to do grooming, you can know how to improve your soft skills kan. Okay? First year, don't go with the flow, kena ada sikit planning lah. Go to career events at faculty and university level. So GECC is not the only one who holds career events such as career talks, such as career visits. Dekat faculty level pun buat tau. The faculty, I know for sure Alumni is very active. I know for sure engineering is very good. Engineering, the Student Society, apa nama, ESUM, ESUM, Engineering Students of University Malaya, they conducted their own career fair last year, which was very good. Okay, so go to the career events that your seniors help organize, and then later on next year you organize someone, you get to meet, you get to know the person from the industry when you contact them lah. Two, you get the leadership skill, but you lead kan satu. Contohnya, for instance the booth. For instance, the food. For instance, the logistics kan. Three, teamwork. You can jumpa people from outside your department, from your program. You are from civil engineering. Now you get to meet people from chemical engineering, for instance. Okay? Then, okay. Develop your soft skills. In the first year, please. Volunteer, socialize. Volunteer because you want to get that in your CV lah. You volunteer for conference at your faculty, conference at central level. You tolong masa you help during VCs, amanat just now. That kind of thing. Volunteer to get the experience. Socialize, like intercultural just now. Intercultural skills kan, kena ada kan. Or intergender. Tak pernah sebut. You need to have this social skill lah. At least to fake it. You know, if you are an introvert, if you force yourself, maybe you can break out of your shell lah. Kan? Get involved, please. Not just the ECC. Go and experience the campus. Ada kayak, pergilah kayak. Ada society, join society. Ada volunteer untuk bagi makan pets. Pergilah. Volunteer, get involved. Develop your online presence. LinkedIn, I cannot stress this enough. LinkedIn is a must nowadays. If your mom, your dad also don't know. So kat sini, in this group, okay, tak semua, not all of you come from the same background. Tak semua datang daripada urban, datang daripada bandar, daripada city. Ada saja, okay, kalangan kita, among us, mak ayah, ataupun family kita kampung ayah mana? Okay, kampung. Okay, your parents may not be able to advise you. Mak, dah buka ke LinkedIn? No kan? So they will not, or they are from previous generation, whereby they don't know what's happening now. Okay, so nowadays it's all about digital. It's all about online kan, online presence, digital branding. Okay, positive punya footprint, just now digital footprint. Okay, so you must develop your own online presence, your own branding. Okay, you go to LinkedIn, you create a good profile, you connect with the right people. Kan, please, kena ada LinkedIn. Tak boleh dah dengar mak cakap dulu zaman mak dulu nak hantar surat sekali terus dapat kerja. Sebab dia sekarang ni 50,000 skill jobs against 200,000 graduates kan. Now digital footprint, positive branding as I said before. Second year. So having done all the things during first year itu kan, I hope that second year students you tengok yang tadi balik and then see where you are. I tak cukup kat sini and then later on you try to improve, okay? But now you continue curating your resume. Resume they don't say right lah, they say curate because you want to highlight the best thing about yourself, the best things, the best work experiences, the best volunteer works, the best technical skills. So you curate lah. Dalam 10 tu saya nak highlight 5 saja. Sebab resume is just 2 pages long maximum. Don't go more than that. Okay? Sebab orang akan baca HR tu. They always say to us, Doctor, make sure that resume is two pages or less. If it's more, okay, nasib lah. Kadang-kadang they find the time. But most of the time, they see anything above 3 pages, they buang terus. Normally normally maximum 2 pages. Curate your resume. Mana tak cukup? Oh, resume nowadays need to be colourful. Jangan buat colour-colour. I don't mean colourful ink. No. I mean colourful in the sense that you boleh cakap, oh saya in my spare time I do this, ada interest ada tu. Oh, you put in your professional experience leading for volunteer group for instance, or I organize student expedition to Mount Kinabalu. Isn't that interesting for the employer? So you try to add colour, you try to make your resume interesting, you try to get various experiences while you are still in UM lah. Okay, tolong. Jangan bosan aja lah. Something I want to share with you. Ada orang dia jadi pembantu mahasiswa kan during your UM WAM. Second year ditolong, third year tolong, tak payah. Sekali je bagi chance, give chance to your friends. You don't volunteer for the same thing throughout your 3 years or 4 years in UM. Jangan. You try to add variation. Bagi sikit colour lah. Jangan bagi sama saja. Okay? And then you continue attending career events. Please study first year dah start. Second year you continue saja. Third year continue improving your soft skills. And at this stage you go for leadership positions. If there's a club, volunteer to be a president, secretary. If in your class, volunteer to be the class rep or assistant class rep. Go for that. Please, tolong rasa lah. Feel the position of responsibility, because that can be translated into reliability, responsibility, dependence. Good things lah in your resume. Okay? Continue collecting your work experience during your second year. JOC, job campus senang saja pun. Sometimes clerical work, very easy. Or part-time on cable, or part-time somewhere else. Increase networking on LinkedIn. Okay? Final year, dah buat tadi semua. First year punya benda dah buat, second year punya benda dah buat. Okay, final year what you need to do for final year students. Now, you need to start identifying good internship place. Now, I know this, engineering students, you do your internship during your second year, third year, not your final year, right? So you can start early during your second year, start thinking about internship. So this one is general. This one, I assume that your internship comes just before you graduate. So during your final year, you just start identifying good internship place. You must think deeply about the short term versus the long term benefits too. Please. Because sometimes just because nak makan masakan mak hari-hari, you forgo a chance of working somewhere yang can of interning somewhere that can guarantee you job offer at the end of your internship. Fikir. Okay, go to job fairs at GCC. This one, so our career fair. Normally, so this year is 14 and 15 of May. Kita nak minta, we want to ask for permission for students to be exempted from this. Kita nak mereka datang. We want them to come because nowadays we have the asynchronous, right? So please come. Please, come not just empty-handed. Be prepared with your resume. Dah ada dah. So that on that day itself, you can talk to the people at the booth yang relevant with your job scope ataupun your program, or even not. Okay, read your resume, or you have QR code nowadays kan, tak perlu paper kan. QR code, okay, this is my resume, can you scan? Something like that. Prepare your resume on the day itself. Dress smartly. Ada datang pakai shorts. Nak jumpa bakal employers, nak jumpa HR people. No, dress smartly. Tak perlulah pakai jacket. You don't have to wear jacket, but presentable. Ask them questions. Talk to the people. If they tak layan, it's okay. Go to the next booth. Okay, that's experience for you to be resilient. It's okay. Tak layan, it's okay. Rude to me, it's okay. So that's training for you to be resilient, because that's after all real life kan. Go to other career fairs as well outside UM. You have career fairs yang free by MOHI, Ministry of Higher Education. So in I think this year November, we have a festival of ideas. That one was very good last year. Very big but very good. Kalau ada chance, go to the November's festival of ideas. Itu ada, there's a mixture of career fair plus ada satu site lagi that open up to you. Oh, ini sebenarnya kat luar sana. Those are the things that can trigger your intellectual punya thinking tu. Pergi sana. So talent bank pun baru-baru 22nd, 23rd February they did for Sunway. That one was open for all. For all. Graduate normally for they do it smaller scale and they prefer international. But try, who knows. Now, polish soft skills, now, why we put graduate here is because graduate, they also target big companies or MNCs, So that's why graduate and bank are two talent providers. If they organize career fairs, you go please pergi sana, because you can get good booths, good employers. Polish your soft skills. Dah ada soft skill daripada first second, but you polish some more. Okay, experience mock interviews. This one tak boleh tak. You need to sit down and try to at least once experience mock interview. Macam mana cara? Macam mana rasa? What's the feeling? Macam mana perasaan? Duduk. Macam mana you nak practice yourself? Duduk di kursi depan tu ada 2 orang or 3 people, panel of interviewers kan. How do you sit? How do you what's your posture like kan? Something that you can practice before the real event. Tolong please. And also polish your resume. Because before you have been curating. First year you started your resume. Second year you curate. Third year you polish your resume. And then remember the branding must be positive. Highlight the good things about you. You are UM students. UM students, they automatically, if they have UM punya resume, 5 other universities, and they think, UM. They feel happy for that. But when they call you for an interview, it's all on you. Okay? So being a UM graduate helps to open doors. Dia boleh buka pintu. Tapi yang nak masuk ke pintu tu, nak bagi salam, nak duduk, it's you. It's on you. Okay? So there's only so much your lecturers can do, GECC can do, SEDC can do. Okay? You have to portray lah, mestilah memenuhi expectation of a UM graduate. Because we want to ask every time outside companies come to UM, they ask us normally UM graduate how much they pay. We said 3,000, 4,000. Wah, company mesti kejut international 3,005. Ada university 3,000 UM. But you have to fulfill the expectation. Janganlah kami. We've been asking for higher starting pay for you guys. Janganlah tiba-tiba sana dan tengok, ini UM asking for 2005. The remainder I can just give 2008 only. So please. Okay, now you have to develop your brand. But third year also, this is when everything semua banyak information. Don't wait until final year to do your career planning. But if you are in your third year now, it's still early because you have not started SEM 2 yet. So ada masa lagi lah. But now I've just summarized the things. Kat luar sana lagi banyak. Okay, so for now I think that's all lah for me. And this is our social media. Please follow us. Not because we want the followers, not because we want the glamour, because we want to share information. Because sometimes we cannot use the channel. Normally, when we get information from the industry, for instance, they want to conduct interviews, they want to propose site visits to their place, kan? Or whatever lah, career events, okay? We contact your TDHP, your faculty, but sometimes the information don't come to you. So if you are connected to us directly on our social media, you can get the information directly, okay? So please follow us and please share this with your friends who cannot be here today. And that's me signing off. My name is Dr. Haas. If you have any questions now or if you have any questions later, I'll be happy to answer your question, okay? Alright? Ada any questions now? Are there any questions? Semua orang dia UTM bisa asal UTM tu soalan banyak. They also want to ask about working overseas because they are in UTM. They want to ask about working in Singapore. Anyone interested to work in Singapore? Yes, no?
Dekat chat box ada seorang tanya.
Okay. Irfan wants to ask a question, please. Azir first, because I saw Azir first now. Azir Irfan? Masalah?
Macam about one of us about the monitor. There's some of my friends, there's some of my colleagues that say that some of the colleagues say that monitor is not good. So some of them say that if you get a monitor, it's fairly enough. Some of them say that if you get a monitor, it's also it's permissible. So what's your opinion?
What's my take? What's my take? Okay, Azir, fine. Okay, frankly speaking, okay, this is from my experience as a lecturer at Faculty of Built Environment plus my 1 year at GECC lah. Okay. So first of all, I'm not saying that PNGK or GPA is not important. CGP is not important. CGPA is important. It is important, but it's not the be all and all. Not the be all and all. It's not the most important thing in the world. It's important, but it's not the most important thing in the world. So if you ask me whether it's 3.0, 3.5, 3.7, okay, of course, the higher the CGPA, the better, right? Okay. Having said that, okay, I need to really be careful about this. Okay, if you want to work at the government sector, the government, they have a cut-off point. So nowadays it's 2.5. No lower than that, 3.5. So you have to be aware of that. If you want to work as a PTD, GPA kan, you nak apply GPA itu, I think it's 2.5. Okay? It's not 3.7, it's 3.5. So if you are 3.29, 3.3, minta maaf, sorry, because we have 200,000 graduates every year, they insist that's the first criteria, 3.5. Okay? If you want to work in the government sector, public sector. But, okay, and also I think that it's the same criteria if you want to work with top employers or top in the top companies in the field. For instance, consultants kan, you have PwC, you have Accenture, and KPMG kan, so they insist on good CGPA average, GPA plus good CGPA. Now. Is it 3.5 the good one? I think so. But even if I say so, 3.3 also be accepted. So it's not rigid with that. It's not like the government sector is now. Okay? So with a big company, they say 3.5, but there's still flexibility there. Because they will also look at your instance. If you are the president of KN, or you are the president of whatever lah kan, ataupun later on as a scheme in UM, we want to propose something which is called Student Career Ambassador under the branding UMCAT, Career and Talent Ambassador, CAT. Later on lah, that one is still in our pipeline. Okay, so katakan you are one of UMCAT, okay, but your CGPA is 3.3. Throughout your UMCAT, your ambassadorship, we bring you to meet the industry. So maybe you already have someone outside that, so they don't care about your CGPA. So I would say the same. In some fields, they don't really, not to say that they care, but that's not the main priority. Okay, especially if you've done attachment in the company, if you've done attachments with other companies and they see you as someone who will be able to contribute to the company, so they don't really mind that your CGPA is not that high. Okay, but if I were you, I would aim for at least 3.5. At least 3.5. 3.7 is for the final CGPA, is for you to get the cemerlang, kemudian cemerlang, LC, lulus cemerlang. Okay, the final one. Okay, but even if you get 3, I've seen this before. So I can, from my experience, I've seen people with 3.2, 3.3 doing very well in the field. Because for some people, it's just that they are late bloomer. I don't know why. Okay, they don't do very well during their studies in UM because maybe they are so busy with extracurricular activities such as Palapé, Success, or entrepreneurship kan, dia buat apa, startup maybe kan, so they neglected their studies. But because they've been meeting people during the studies, because they've been establishing their business in the studies, they may do well, even better than those who scored 3.5, 3.7. Okay, Azir? Am I answering your question? Have I answered? Yes? Please aim 3.5 and above. That's my advice to you guys, okay? But as I said again, Azir, it's not too late. It's not the be all and all. Itu bukan penamat cerita. There are other things that's under consideration. Okay? Just not Cat. Sorry, Cat. I think I have to mention call Cat first because I saw Cat Kat Lee? No? Kat Lee?
Doctor, can you share us a bit like how to work in overseas, for example, Singapore?
Okay, Arab countries kan. How to work overseas. First of all, I can only share about Singapore because I have some knowledge. Okay, about working there. No. Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, three countries. Okay. So let's talk about. Actually, they have a common thing lah. Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan. So these three countries nowadays they have what is called brain drain. You know brain drain, and also China. Actually, 4 countries. Okay, brain drain meaning that they don't have enough top talents there. Okay, so what they do is they try to attract top talents from other countries, including Malaysia, especially Malaysia, not including. China, for instance, they have this initiative called the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI kan, or One Belt, One Road. Ada geography, ada belajar, ada politik. So they have this BRI, and Malaysia is the only, sorry, not Malaysia. UM is the only university, okay, in Malaysia that's inside the Belt and Road punya alignment that has top ranking. So they always go for UM graduates. So if you want to work in China, no problem. They have special schemes and they can offer you so many things, and you can even work in Malaysia for Chinese companies. Best kind. You don't have to go outside Malaysia. But if you decide to go overseas, for instance, you want to go to other countries, the ones I mentioned just now, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore. So their brain drain caused the government to have this policy to attract top talents from Malaysia. So they call it top talent. Different countries have their own name of that scheme lah. Okay, and they will give you. Okay, for instance, I share with you. Hong Kong. Okay, Hong Kong, they give you a free visa. No, you are not required to have a visa. Or is it they give you visa for 2 years for you to go there without having employment yet. You go there for 2 years for you to explore. Tengok sesuai tak sesuai. I want to work in this sector or this area, whatever. Okay, so you are free to live in Hong Kong for 2 years if you are a UM graduate and you intend to seek employment in Hong Kong. And then they will help you later on with so many things with your visa, So that's with their Thailand, Hong Kong. Thailand, Hong Kong. Okay? Taiwan, also like West. Taiwan, they can match you with employers. If you are interested, you just tell through us actually, but they have an agent in Cake. See the cake. So the agent is called Cake. There's a Cake branch in Malaysia. You just express to them, I want to work in Taiwan. Everything they do for you. They will find the potential employer. Nak duduk mana, tolong everything. Visa, and then if you want to get married, want to settle down there, they have this gold card scheme, something like that, gold card scheme, so they will help you. So that's Taiwan, and that's Hong Kong. Singapore, okay, there's a government policy. At one time, I'm not very sure if it's still in force. I think you masih ada, okay. The government policy states that they must have, I think for big companies, they must have at least 30% foreign employees, workers. So that's why one time they bombard, they come to us asking for UMs. Of course, they want students from top universities. So they go to UTM because it's close to them, UM because top rank university. Okay? So these countries okay lah. So Singapore, but if you want to work there, you need to also know about the culture lah, I would say. So on our side, we know that visa type of job, we can advise on that, but you need to learn about their culture as well, because you say Hong Kong, okay, but think about this. Hong Kong's housing, the housing price, even if they pay you a lot of money, does that cover your accommodation? If not, okay, you have to spend a lot of money on your accommodation. So you need to know the foreign country or the foreign city that you want to move to. Singapore, at least lah, tolong they can match you with other people in the same, other Malaysians in the same company, so that you can share accommodation. At least lah, they have the initiative. But I don't know about Taiwan, I don't know about UK, Arab countries, I don't know. But from my experience before, these countries, other countries, they prefer to employ people with work experience first. But for Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, they even offer internship. to do that. Internship boleh buat. So with internship, you're not bound. You can come back to Malaysia, right? You want to experience working there when you can. Boleh. Internship you can do internationally. You know that, right? Do you know that? Okay. Next question. Alamak, there's so many people. Wong Sing Yi. Emily.
Good afternoon, Dr. Hans.
Afternoon.
And I am a first year student of Bachelor of Accounting. I would like to ask if I have the opportunity to take up either a job position or a leadership position in club, which one would be more preferable by employers if I'm writing in my resume at the professional experience section?
Wow. I think, that's a very good question. Emily, I would say that they will look at the overall resume. If you have, I think if your CGPA is very high, it's very high, and if you have work experience, it'll be good. Okay, and during the interview you perform. So maybe even though you don't have leadership in your resume, but you put there your work experience, or either one, okay, but you perform well, that would be good. I mean, that's enough. I don't think you can put both actually. Or you have to choose one. Work or leadership. Look at what you're lacking. You're lacking money. You're lacking some soft skills. Leadership. I think that's a very good. Because sometimes you need money. Okay, reality bites kan. Nowadays cost of living, whatnot, being a student, you need to have your Zooms, whatnot, duit tak ada kan. Leadership tak apalah buat lain kali ataupun join in a smaller scale that demands less effort, less time, and leadership is not just being the president. No, tidak. Jangan salah faham. Leadership does not mean that you have to be the president or something, or chair or something. Sometimes how you lead yourself pun ada juga lah. There's a way for you to do that. If you work, then you say that there's 2 people under you, that's leadership. So it's how you write your resume, it's how you position yourself lah. Ada cara. So sebenarnya leadership tu, even though you tak ada staff 2 orang bawah you don't have any 2 people below you, but you have other leadership related skills such as dependency. I was working, but I was the only one, and I managed 2,000 ringgit per day. From what time to what time, that's only me. So that shows how dependable, how reliable you are, and that's the qualities of a leader. Kan? Like depends on what you want. Don't have money, want money. You can always you can always reframe situation. Okay, Zifania, apa ni? I think 2 more questions. Zifania.
Now, I want to ask for extracurricular success in enhancement is the key by preferred short-term commitments such as equality or another so compared to long-term commitments such as organizational commitment for a year.
Oh, excellent. Even volunteering in a one-off event is beneficial. Wow, my voice is suddenly very low. Now, don't look at it as time-based. Okay, look at it as program-based. Maybe it's just a one-off event, but it's a very major event. But it doesn't matter, small or big. Okay, you can offer, for instance, volunteer in a department seminar. You always have that at your faculty. You volunteer yourself as the MC. So MC is only busy on the day itself, right? So it's only 1 hour of your time, or 5 hours, 2 hours, whatever, depending on the program. Okay, good enough. But have the experience. Okay, make sure you volunteer. Or even during month of Ramadan, right? I've seen this before in a few of your seniors in resume. They volunteer to give food to the poor, for instance, at the mosque. They follow the residential college program. That's good. Okay. So I think there's no more question. Let me just check the chat box because you want to be mic problem. Wait, let me go to the topic. Is there any opportunity in the future for corporate collaboration that offers short internship during semester break? Okay, this one kan? Okay, good juga. Very good. Now, let me just share with you. If you go to the right lecturer, the right lecturer can connect you with the corporation. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for corporate collaboration or not. Okay? And sometimes you approach your connection on LinkedIn. You say, okay, maybe, okay, my department, my faculty has tak pernah, never done, never conduct any internship, never conduct any career event, and never have any career talk. You organize. Okay? Oh, I don't know the procedure. Find out. Oh, the procedure so susah lah. Okay, this is between us. Do it anyway. I don't have money. Online, free. Online. There's always an answer to all of your questions. Oh, there's a problem. If you don't know, betul-betul tak tahu, come and see me. We've done sponsorship before. Ada student society, but small sponsorship lah. Maybe some drinks, some food for your friends. But you have the idea to invite, for instance, to conduct visit to. Last time mana ada pergi? Saya pergi mana hari tu? Institute Nuklear Negara.
Nuklear.
So they said, Doctor, we have money for bus, but we don't have money for food. Okay. We don't have money for tokens to the speaker. We give. Okay, we can help in that small way. But be the change maker. Motivation. Okay, that's a leader. You know. Okay, you yourself. Okay, raise religion, royalty. Thank you, Mr. Azir. True. Okay, Doctor. I don't know what is true. Thank you, Azir. Azir, connect with me on LinkedIn. Hue Wan Lim, is it true that getting good pointer is, I think it's similar, because you hire people answer based on file. Wait a minute. Is it true that getting good pointer in your degree means that you work in some place, and took the responsibility of child as a student? So when they are constantly hire people, we can answer that based on points. Oh. That's something new. I haven't found some place. Not yet. This is a very interesting way of putting your reframing your good CGPA as a work performance. Never been done before. You can try. Different lah. No, at least you have a. But if you are involved in volunteering, in a part-time job, you can turn that into work experience. Besides your attempt just now, turn your CPA to work experience. Tak boleh lah. Not done before. You can try. Adam Takif, chatbots, a student, okay, professional experience. Yes. Adam. Joining any member of committee club count as professional experience. We've met a few HR consultants or HR trainers who said that under work experience, students put no or empty, leave it empty. Don't leave it empty. Whatever you've been doing throughout your 3 years, 4 years that you have to, ada work experience di situ. You bantu, for instance, you help your lecturer to keep in data. Itu work experience, but you don't get paid. That's the only thing. Okay, but it's professional experience, work experience. Okay, boleh dijadikan, kan? Club pun boleh lah, boleh. Being the secretary, because this responsibility is attached to the secretary post. If you are the treasurer, lagi lah, you are entrusted with money. That shows you are dependable, kan? You can highlight the main thing that you did when you were the secretary. You managed to increase membership fee from 50% to 60%, something like that. Yes, that's your achievement. That's something you want to highlight in your resume. Okay, Adam, good question. HA, what platform student can gain experience before applying for jobs? Oil and gas. Oil and gas career. Oil and gas, ada lah. Oil and gas, normally they want to see technical skills. And also you have to train yourself mentally. Mesti resilience, mesti ada mental. Oil and gas is very tough. So resilient, you prepare yourself. And I think then again, kan, oil and gas, you say oil and gas. Kita sekarang ni talking about renewable energy lah, alternative energy. Kita in the future oil and gas dah pay less, and it's not as secure as before. The job dalam oil and gas dulu gaji 10,000, 100,000 pun ada kan. But nowadays oil and gas, you see Petronas kan, they want to apa dipanggil tu, laying off so many people kan. Anyway, thank you, welcome. Thank you so much. Okay, I think that's all. No more questions. Thank you all.